You're a fan of Stalin's.
Mm-hmm. We don't need to go into that, I guess.
We'll circle back to that.
Tucker Carlson will have on a Hitler-friendly pseudo-historian to minimize the Holocaust and blame Winston Churchill for World War II. And he will call him America's best and most honest historian.
My question, does anybody have any idea what Tucker is doing? I'm just so confused. Does anybody have any, I don't want to speculate, but do we have any information about what this is all about? Is it just to create action?
The only thing I can tell you is that over the course of the last year, I reached out to him privately several times to offer to have a totally open conversation on either of our shows. I considered us, at least friendly the way that some of these public relationships are. He blurbed my first book. He credited me for going independent because he saw I could do it. I've been on his show many, many times. And he never took that up. I also offered to broker peace between him and Ben, and he didn't. So, and there's multiple other public people who have said similar things. So I can't speak to what's in his heart. I can only speak to what the actions are.
Yeah, I don't know Tucker well enough in that way. I was only on his show once, and I'll say long before he went independent, he was the guy that I looked to every single day, every single night on Fox News, because he's the one that said, bring him on. People with completely different opinions and backgrounds and ideologies, he was the one that encouraged and actually had the conversations that nobody was willing to have. And most importantly, he pushed back. And that is why he became Tucker Carlson. So that's why, to me, it is just confusing. And I literally don't know enough to even fairly speculate. To me, that's disappointing. And Russell, I think we all are actually on the same page. I want to hear more from Nick Fuentes because he is so dangerous that we need to completely understand it to prevent him from getting deeper and deeper into the minds of our children. Because as Jillian said, and I said earlier, that is why we're in the position that we are in New York City today. Because we just said, we're going to keep this thing quiet. It'll go away. It's New York. They'll do the right thing. They always do. When you silence, it can potentially turn into this. And that's what's happened. So freedom of speech, first and foremost, and always. So it's not about silencing somebody. It's about going deeper and understanding and then educating people based on that.
I also think there's like just an internet culture part of this that no one's grappling with properly. So, for example, if you look at the five of us, we all conduct ourselves in slightly different ways, but like somewhat similar in that we're all kind and open and willing to hear other ideas. And if you were to look at our audiences, like our audiences aren't going to be filled with rage and anger, and they're going to have like a wide variance of opinions and everything else. He's cultivated something. And again, some of it's legit, the anger that his audience has because they're young white men who have been told they're horrible because they're straight and white and blah, blah, blah. But what they have created on the underbelly of the internet in Discord and some of these other things is just this absolutely, Jordan talks about this a lot, this like crazed, nihilistic, let's burn everything down, destroy everything attitude. So partly what also happens here is if you just say something that's true, you just lay out whatever the truth is, you get some likes and some clicks and people are like, oh, that's nice. You said something that's true. Now you say something that's completely psychotic or inflammatory, or you attack somebody or you call them all the things that none of us want to say, you're going to get a zillion likes from these people and you're going to get all the retweets. So then all of the influencers, I think this is what you were alluding to, Sage, all of the influencers who suddenly don't have an opinion on this, they have opinions on everything, but they're afraid to have an opinion on this. I think it's fairly obvious what's happening. They just don't want to deal with the hate. It's as simple as that. They know that he has weaponized the internet in a way that there is simply no way Sage Steele could weaponize the internet this way because you're a good, thoughtful person. None of you guys could do it. I couldn't do it either.
Yeah. And I think when you look at some of the comments from the quote groypers, it's everything you need to see and know. Because people are like, he's just jokes, just funny stuff. It doesn't really mean it. Like, I didn't know that was funny, but thanks for telling me you find it humorous. When you look at the comments from his followers, that is everything he stands for. That is everything he promotes. It is happening in real time. I'm sorry, Sage, I don't need to understand the KKK and I don't need to understand Hitler. If we wanted to get into and psychoanalyze Nick Fuentes, God bless. Obviously his mom didn't love him the right way. Dr. Drew can handle that one on someone else's show.
Well, isn't he
Or
closeted?
maybe-
Everyone says he's gay and closeted.
I don't know.
That-
I don't, like, who knows? I don't even care. But what I do
Russell,
care
you have
about,
incredible gaydar, gay or not. You had him on your show.
I mean, I care that cool people.
Fantastic.
I don't know, guys.
Drew, what do you think
But
what do you think about just sort of the psychology of audiences online and like the selective pressures that we're all under as creators in terms of how the internet works?
Yeah, it is interesting. This is a bigger topic. How do you avoid getting captured by an audience? Because there are underserved audiences out there that are so grateful when you create content for them. And essentially, white males, young white males, are one of those groups. They feel marginalized. They feel been told there's something wrong with them. And to some extent, conservatives generally they've been in that group. How do you maintain material that gets them interested and also maintain your objectivity and your your willingness to be open to all ideas? There's something here that's mysterious to me, this idea that the young males think it's funny. I mean, what do they imagine they're doing? I'm now fascinated by this group. I mean, it must be the
Groypers. And you know who did this effectively? Charlie
Yes.
Kirk. And, I look at my young son, he's 13 and a half.
Yeah.
And white kid. And he responded to Charlie. I got involved in listening to Charlie because I wanted to know who my teenager was listening to. And of course, they called Charlie every name under the sun.
Yeah.
So I began listening to him. This is a man who adored his wife. This is a man who adored his daughters and talked about protecting them. This is a man who talked about chivalry when going on a date with women. And the juxtaposition to him is a man who says women want to be and roughed up.
I think you're so onto something here. I think so much of the outrage has to do with Charlie, and no one's kind of saying that properly. Everyone's known what this kid's crappy ideas are. And again, none of us understand fully what Tucker's motives are. It's something about less than 2 months after the murder of Charlie, the one person he did not want to be part of all of this. Literally, the one person. Tucker welcomed him in. And that is another piece of this that just, because we're only 2 months away from the death of the assassination of our friend, and that he chose to do that. That's just another piece here.